evening, welcome to Around the Island Race 2026. I'm Paul. We're going to be going through your race briefing this evening, plus a full weather forecast as well. So if you're taking part in the race, you might want to come a little bit closer, come out here, because there'll also be the opportunity to ask any questions. Maybe you haven't taken part in the race before and you've got any questions, then we will be here. Well, I say we, I've got nothing to do with it. These guys will be here to answer those questions for you, so don't be shy. We're going to start off. We have Penny Tranter, who is our meteorologist, and she's going to give you a full weather briefing, which obviously is going to be very important for tomorrow with this incredible weather that we're having. So Penny, over to you.
Thanks very much, Tom, and good evening, everyone. Hi. I'm just waiting for the graphics. Lovely. So, we've had high pressure dominating our weather now for quite a while over the UK, and the high pressure that has been dominating our weather is now just slipping a little bit further northwards. It's going to be over the northern part of the UK as we go through the day tomorrow. Further to the south, over the Bay of Biscay in Spain, we have got lower pressure, and for us here in the Solent and round the island, we're going to have a northeasterly wind dominating the race for tomorrow. But we are going to have some subtle changes to that northeasterly wind, which I'll go into in a little bit more detail as I go through this brief. But you might not be surprised to hear that tomorrow is going to be yet another dry, sunny and hot day. And that sunshine is really, really strong. And as it's the middle of the summer, we've got very high UV as well with the sunshine. So that sunshine with the high UV doesn't depend on temperature. So even though it's going to be cooler over the sea, it's going to be the same high UV sunshine over the sea as we'll see over the land. And just to take it all up together, we're going to see smooth seas tomorrow, but occasionally slight seas round the back of the island. So there's our weather chart then for sort of midnight tomorrow night. You can see we've got that northeasterly flow dominating. There's no weather fronts around us. They're all over towards more northern parts of the UK and Ireland. So we're going to see very, very similar weather, as I say, to today. So lots of blue sky for you tomorrow. We may just see a little bit of fair weather cumulus like we've done today, and perhaps be a little bit hazy around the back of the island, but we shouldn't have any visibility problems. So one of the things that I did just want to emphasise, and obviously with the weather that we're expecting tomorrow, whether you're on land or whether you're on sea, please keep yourselves hydrated and also protected from that strong sunshine. So let's have a look at the start for the race tomorrow between 0700 and 0900. So we've got mainly a northeasterly wind coming in from 030 to 060, 8 to 15 knots, perhaps gusting up to around 20 knots. So this wind, even though it's it's between a high pressure and a low pressure, there is going to be a little bit of blusteriness with it. And so just to be aware of that. But that does look like it should be, pretty firm northeasterly for the start. Time of high water at Cowes is 08:10 tomorrow morning, and we're halfway between Neeps and Springs. So for stage 1, which is from Cowes down towards the Needles through the Hurst Narrows, we're going to keep those winds that we'll have for the start, but as we go through the morning, early afternoon, as I said, we are going to see some subtle changes in that wind due to the heat building, particularly over the mainland. The winds will go round to become more sort of east-northeast easterly through the morning, early afternoon, still around about 8 to 15 knots, gusting 14 to 20, but we would just see a little bit of funneling through the Hurst Narrows. We could just see it go up to the low 20 knots there. And tides at Hurst Narrows, high water is at 08:33. So for stage 2 then, which is from the Needles down to St Catherine's Point, the southwestern side of the island, by this time we'll see the winds just starting to go round a little bit, become a little bit more east-northeast easterly, so 040, 080, 6 to 15 knots, gusting 10 to 20 knots. As we go through the morning, through to the early evening, it's just going to start going south of east. And that's because of the influence of the heat and just trying to develop a sea breeze. Obviously, if you have some wind bends around the cliffs, and we could see gusts up to sort of 24, 25, 26 knots. So your tides, we've had Hurst Narrows, and as well as the high tide at 08:33, we've got low tide at 14:02, and at freshwater, we have high water at 07:26 and low tide at 13:53. And then for stage 3, which is St Catherine's up to Bembridge, you can see that we've the main wind is still sort of between the sort of east, northeast and east, 6 to 16 knots, gusts 10 to 22 knots. But as we go through the morning and early afternoon, it is going to be veering round to become more sort of east to southeast influence of the sea breeze again, 8 to 15 knots, gusting 14 to 22 knots. And for stage 3, we've got quite a lot of tidal information for you. High water at Ventnor is 08:33, followed by low water at 14:02, and the second high water at 21:06. Sandown a little bit later, first high water at 09:05, low water at 14:48, and the second high water at 21:36. And for Bembridge, very similar to Sandown, first high water at 0900, low water at 14:37, and the second high water at 21:31. And then finally for stage 4, which is from Bembridge back to Cowes to the finish line, we are expecting through the morning through to the early evening, we've got that east to southeasterly with the sea breezes kicking in, 8 to 15 knots, gusts 14 to 22. Then as we go through the evening, as the sea breeze starts to dampen down, we'll see the wind coming in more generally from the east, so around about 070 to 110. And then later on in the evening, sort of through 2100, 2200, it'll become more northeasterly and really quite strengthen, 10 to 18 knots, gusts to 22 knots. So for our tides then, Ryde high water, first one at 08:52, low water at 14:25, and the second one at 21:06. And for Cowes, we have the low water at 14:20, followed by the second high water at 20:43. So in summary then, the start is mainly northeasterly, 0:30 to 0:60, 8 to 15 knots, gusting up to 20 knots. And then during the race, as I've explained, we are going to see the winds veering round sort of east-southeasterly, particularly through the morning and the afternoon and the early evening, particularly in the eastern Solent is likely where we're going to see the sea breeze at its strongest. And then that sort of from mid-evening, easterly kicking in, followed by a northeasterly. And as I've said, sea state smooth, possibly slight around the back of the island, and as I've already mentioned, dry, sunny and hot. And temperatures inland 23 to 31 Celsius, so it is going to be another very hot day here. And the sea temperatures at the moment are 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, and that's 4 degrees higher than it was at this time last year. So we are experiencing what is called a marine heat wave at the moment along the south coast of England. Okay, so that wraps up the weather brief. I'd just like to make you aware of some other information that we have. We have the Nautical Cloud Race app, and you've got the QR code there on screen. and that app will show wind and tides for you around the island during tomorrow. So that is the Nautical Cloud Race app, which is available for everybody. So I am going to be quite heavy-handed with the advice regarding keeping protected from the sun. Please look at using sun cream and also wearing one of our wonderful hats that we have for Round the Island Race, and also plenty of water as well. So thank you very much indeed. I hope you all enjoy the race and you all have a really lovely, lovely day out on the water, and you have lots of fantastic racing. Thank you very much indeed for listening to this weather brief. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Penny. I was just going to say, actually, most important thing tomorrow from a health and safety point of view is make sure you're hydrated. I can see most of you hydrating right now, which is good news, but maybe some water would be good tomorrow. Make sure you've got that sunscreen on as well. You know, life jackets, all the stuff that's a bit boring, but it will make your race so much better if you do those simple things. Because the last thing you want to do is come off the water, not feel great, and not be able to come back to the bar, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, well, yeah. Fantastic. We're going to do a little Q&A now.